Morning, guys. Hope you can hear me all right. Thanks, Sean. Morning, Sean. Good to have you. She'll just give it a couple of minutes again. Hi, welcome back, Mikkel. Morning, guys. Morning, Maurice. Okay, that's past. We can get started. Okay, as mentioned yesterday, we got a whole load of stuff coming up the economic fundamental front, morning finally, going into today, tomorrow, and of course the big one Friday at 3:30, the jobs report, or more well known as the non-farm payrolls in the US. Okay, now I don't know how many people in here do not know what the non-farm payrolls are. If you don't, you need to know. So you can ask me, or you can quickly Google it, but to trade without that is not a good idea. You need to know that. Okay, it does affect the world's markets, and it will be coming out 3:30 on Friday. But that's not all. There's quite a few others coming out, which we'll be mentioning in this morning's session. I assume you've all got the, I'm going to print it anyway, just in case you haven't. You should all have it by now, but you never know. It doesn't take long, just in case. This is the economic calendar. I'm just going to send it to you. Let's get this sorted out quickly. Really, I mean, if you already got it, ignore it. Just help out some other guys who new to it, not sure. We talk a lot about the economic fundamentals. It's imperative, you know. They make up what affects our trading big time, as those who suffered know by the hard way. So I've just put the DXY, that's the dollar index, because obviously the dollar's king, and that's what's important to know what the dollar's doing. The index made up of 6 currencies, majors and the Swissy. Okay, so yeah, so let's Cheryl in, good to have her back. Right, so we'll come to that in a moment. Yeah, just want to go through the various trades we've got open at the moment. The US shares are not doing too badly. They're all doing okay at the moment, which is fine, but we need to go into that too much at the moment because that does not open until 4:30, so you can wait till this afternoon session. We can go over it in the meantime if you like. It's not the paramount importance at the moment. Just want to go through the open trades we've got, just to stop occasion to let the guys come in. Right, I've got the CHF JPY. Now, this is what happens when a lot of expected fundamentals come out. You get jumping around, like I say, like a cat on a hot tin roof. Okay, now the CHF JPY we got out yesterday at 145.30, and look, this is today's. It's been up to 61 yesterday. If we go to 4, I'll probably get a picture. It was right up there at one stage, right? Excuse me. Right up to here, at 145.65. You get the idea. It's just been jumping around. Then it's come off to a bit of a low round about just below our entry level. Then it pops up again. So it's jumping around a fairly narrow range around there. The trades are not bad, they're not good, they're just sort of hovering. Why is that hovering? Well, I think clearly understand it's everyone, not everyone, but I mean a large portion of the guys out there are nervous about what the likelihood is going to be coming out. And I get a few guys posting stuff to me, and these guys, you know, experienced analysts. And I've got some saying, no, the dollar's going to strengthen, and some say the dollar's going to weaken. So I say, I don't know. Good morning, Cheryl. I miss you, Cheryl. I miss you indeed. Okay, yeah, yes. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Because when I get to guys first to know to talk about saying one, and another guy knows we're talking about saying the opposite, it makes it a little bit difficult. Gerard just asked me this morning, he's on here today. He took, well done, a quick one on the euro US dollar, maybe a couple of bucks. Should he ever go again? And I said, no, cluck, chicken. I'm a little bit nervous on that basis. Well, great to have you back, Shipper. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm a little bit iffy. You can tell this is not a 15-minute candle, guys. This is a 4-hour candle. Look at this. Comes down, jumps up, and then comes off. Look at the previous 4 hour. Remember, this is only an hour and a half hold, this candle. This is 8 to 12, that's 4 to 8. Up it goes and comes down. So what does that tell you? Well, I don't need to come out the obvious. Okay, now we had one from Solly. It wasn't my idea of Solly. It's now doing fabulously well. I must have say it made some good bucks on it. I moved my stop. Is that the right one? You know, it's the wrong one. EURAUD, beg your pardon. I moved my stop up to, I think it was about 45 or something like that. And lots of industry, no, Sean. Yeah, exactly. 45, and I got stopped out at 45, got in at 5, like the trading room idea came out, I got it at that price, so I made 40 pips, it came off, and it's slightly still in profit, 10 pips in profit, so anybody modified the stop probably would have been stopped out in the profit. So thank you, Solly, I think you're here with us. It did okay. Now, the guys from the old-fashioned way of trading, where they put the stop in and they hold for a longer term, wait for the TP, might be a little bit disappointing because although they're only in 10 pips profit at one stage, they're right up here in about 89, you know, about 80 odd plus pips profit before it came off. I just modified the stop because it's jumping around on the fundamentals which are affecting world markets so much these days of trading. So yeah, if you're still in, well, it's still in profit, but clearly hold on. But just bear in mind, just bear in mind modifying the stop. Okay, I hope I haven't got to explain any more of that to you. It's your choice what you do, but it'd be a pity to turn a winner into a loser. But then the other side is you might want to hold on, and the winner becomes a fabulous winner because you've maintained the risk of being stopped out. That's up to you. I'm afraid I'm taking the more, should we say, chicken route, if that's the right way. I'd rather modify the stop and make a smaller profit than take a bloody loss. So anyway, I'm out of that now. Thank you very much, Solly. Okay, Jen was still in. Well, stick with it. Hope you can do okay. It's still in a profit, but yeah, it's come off a bit. Like up and down, up and down. What else do we look at? NZD-CHF, AUD-USD. That's still giving us jib. Still, we're looking okay. It was yesterday. Felix, that's right. He was at the dollar-yen, and this one's coming right. It jumped down, so I think it's maybe 1 or 2 pips in profit. and it's popped its head up about again. Now it might come down here, and a little bit more. Came back 5 pips in profit, and then it popped up again. So it's just jumping around. Again, the dollar strength or weakness. I can see on my dollar index chart on the 1 hour, not the daily, the 1 hour, it seems to be complete indecision, waiting for these big ones to come out today. More of that in a minute. So yeah, you've got your stop and your TP. Hope it comes right. Much more I can offer you on that one. Okay. Someone's making a bit of noise, getting some carrying my own noise there. Beg your pardon. That's exactly it, Sean. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll mute for the time being. You can always ask me to unmute if you want to chat. A lot of people do chat, so I'm more than welcome if you do. Just tell me unmute and I'll do it with pleasure. Okay, so we have interruptions. Okay, AUD, NZD. What else we got out? We had the NZD-CHF. Didn't seem to be doing much last look. NZD-CHF. Yeah, it's slightly in the rears. It did nicely earlier on. It came down to a bit. In fact, it took out the round figure, looking pretty good. And we're up about 20, 22, 23 in profits, something like that. And then it's popped up again, and then it pops down again, as you can see here. You get the idea. So it's slightly in arrears at the moment, from slightly in profit, but it's not terrible at the moment. If you look at the daily and look at the weekly, it's quite a bit of support resistance there. So what's going to drive it higher against Swiss franc, remember? Who knows? But anyway, slightly down, but it was slightly up. Some guys might have taken it. Okay, so we'll go back to the daily and leave that one alone at the moment. Keep an eye, I mentioned CSJPY, as I mentioned, that was up very nicely. I think I mentioned this a moment ago. I think the moment it's slightly down. Just repeat again. No, slight up again now. More fun than casino, eh? Went up nicely. Give its due. It's a day chart. It's not dropped below 145. That's holding. We got a 145.30. Popped up nicely to 35 odd pips in profit. Popped down. It might go up again. So let that run. Again, not too bad. Gold. We missed one. Yeah, euro dollar. Euro dollar. Okay, it came down a little bit. Not much into a bit of profit. Yeah, about 20 pips profit. We got a 38. That's popped its head up a bit. This is holding. So again, hold on to that. Don't enter again, in my opinion, even though it's a slightly better entry. If you've taken profit, well done, Gerard, anyone else who did that. I think just hold on what you got. Don't get cute. That's my situation. If you don't get cute and you miss out, well, tough. If you do get cute and then it hits you hard, well, tougher still. I think the suggestion is just hold 5 on that. Okay, that's mine. You might disagree. This is a forum, guys. A lot of you guys have traded before. Your opinions are more than welcome. They're absolutely necessary. Okay. Okay. There's a guy in the sky there. They call him the god of trades. Go and ask him. I can't really blame him on the low oil price. Oil price come off a bit. I'm just guessing. Yes, purely guessing. Maybe that the Swiss is pretty stable. So I think the Swiss is not the problem. The yen has been so weak lately. I think a bit of strength has crept in. I was simply put, your houses and fortunes become a bit of a rough area. Some bad guys have moved in, so your millionaire house dropped in price. But 800 might have dropped to. We'd start drop to 600 or 500,000 rand. It's drops a bit too much. Hang on, it's a bit undervalued now. A few buyers might start coming in. Pretty stupid example, but you get the idea. That's about the best they can come up with. Nothing more quite intelligent than that, I'm afraid. But yeah. Otherwise, yeah. I hear you. Okay. But I don't think anything is maybe some guys said, right, yen's a bit over the top here, a bit undervalued, but I think that's going to say a bit overvalued. Okay, so anyway, but it's not a problem on that particular trade. Okay, have we covered everything? AER, SND, CHF, the shares, we can go in if you like, euro dollar. And that's Zef's one, that one, might as well look at it, AUD, NZD. I think it's more or less the same. Look at this daily chart, eh? I think you went short on that one. I'll be honest, I said I'm out of this one. And I don't think it's going anywhere, actually. I think it's been sitting there. I think it's made NGAS seem like a bit of a Ferrari or even a Formula One car in comparison to movement. Going nowhere. So you're not winning or lose, just sitting there. You're sort of floating on the breeze at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, the euro will. Yeah, well, just let me finish off this and I'm going to the euro stuff with you. Well, I'm going a whole lot with you on that. Okay, last one was gold. I'm getting a bit nervous of gold, actually. It was a bit of a speculative short and it 50s pulled up a bit, but my worry is this flag candle. I think it could break up the top. But if you're in, don't suddenly panic on this. That's purely a technical. Dollar doesn't know what he's doing. If stuff comes out, makes that dollar strength, it will break to the bottom. If it suddenly makes it weak, it'll push to the top. I can't guess all those fundamentals. And not just the fundamentals. I might even get it right. I say, oh, that'll be better or worse than expected. But the interpretation from it often can be much different to what's expected. I mean, you look into the economic calendar and it explains if it's high, it's good for the currency, low, it's good, bad for the currency. Often I've seen it happen the other way around because the interpretation due to inflation or expectations of interest rates, etc., might have exactly the opposite effect. So we have to wait till it comes out to see what the interpretation of that news comes in. So I'm just getting a bit nervous. So I personally think if you're in, all right, hold on, you got to stop protecting, but probably leave it alone for the time being. Technically speaking, it likely could break up, but I don't think that technically is going to make a hell of a lot of difference if the funders go against it. Remember that. Funders go against, they'll overcome the technicals. Just remember that. That's why you have to know a bit about what's happening on the fundamental front. Okay, all right, I've gone in fairly quick. It was too quick to say so. I've left the shares out because I wanted to go through those first. Any questions on what I've said there? Oh, wow, it's exciting, Sean. Good. And that's moved 2%. Good. I've looked at, again, I thought about the US dollar, Japanese, yeah. We got in around about 101, just above the round figure, 130 138.3, around about there. So we're still in profit, but look, it's hovering. So, you know, at least you got your, should have got your modified to your entry and wait it out. If it does well, you'll make a decent Tom. If it doesn't do well, you'll break even. Simple as that. Yeah, that's what I said. Okay, Euro JPY. Before we jump into the Euro 2 quick, I just want to mention today, it was a lot of them coming out today, but just it's all rubbish. 12 o'clock, CPI. CPI. Now, CPI is a big indicator, it's a consumer price index of inflation. There's a lot of nerves about inflation. I think we've discussed that many, many times here. And the expectation of bringing inflation down to increase interest rates. That's all the hawkish stance. So remember a couple of Thursdays ago, look at the enormous effect the US CPI had on our markets. See the amazing jump on it. I'm not saying the same will happen to the Eurozone, but there will be an effect depending how it comes out in interpretation. So Euro JPY, maybe it's going to be one of those sessions where it'll be a little bit on the careful side, to say the least. Well, look at it technically, and technically it's not telling me much. It's telling me it's the Eurozone, the neutral zone, Eurozone, neutral zone. I'm going forward. I depend on the CPI, I could change things, but forward, I think the euro, bit of strength, and I think Japanese is a little bit oversold. Does that mean to say on that support I'll buy it? No, it doesn't. There's a neutral zone. Technically, can I buy it? Yes, I can. Look at that indecision yesterday. Look at that indecision already today. That means the world is saying buyers and sellers, neither side is in control. If the CPI figures are lower, it might actually end up being slightly weaker than the euro. Not what it says in your clip on that tells you that. I'm saying it could be weak because it means it's less inflation expected. They could put off more interest or lower interest increase in the future. It could be a benefit to the euro. If it's above the expectation at 10.4%, which is bloody high. I mean, we're talking Europe here. You know, 10% is hectic. I think it's worse than ours. And that might consider inflation, which happened with the dollar last time, the CPI. And look what happened there. It happened, it's the other way around. The dollar, it was better than expected. It means less inflationary, and the dollar suddenly weakened. So if it's higher, I personally think the euro will strengthen. If it's lower, I think the euro will weaken, which is back to front. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from as a result of inflation or lack of it. Higher than CPI means it's more inflation. Lower is less inflationary, means less interest rates, which means that the euro will be strengthened on the lower expectations and weaker on the higher. Hope that makes sense. So whatever there is, whether you understood it or not, understand this, be careful of jumping in at the moment. Okay, that's my take. We can look at Apple and me. I'm just finishing this off because it only opens up later on, so we can look at that in a minute. Okay, so you're Mikhail, for the reasons I just gave, I'm leaving that alone. If you want to do it, obviously do what you like. It's up to you. But I think you just got to be aware you're taking a bit of a gamble on that. It's not a to me. That's a good word to use. It's a gamble. It's not a worked out a strategy. I would say poker is a game of skill, or there's gambling. The cards you dealt with, I get. But blackjack or putting it on the roulette is pure game of chance. Okay. Right. Okay. To me, that's a game of chance. Where do you want to go on that or not? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bet on black and red. Yeah. Buy stops, sell stops. Interesting point, Sean. Right. Don't want anyone do this if you're very, very much a beginner. I want only people who've got the money, know the risks involved to do that. What that means is you will do it now, by the way. You're expecting at 12 o'clock the CPI to come out in the euro. Just make sure you're ready, maybe a few minutes before, maybe 10 minutes or so before. Just say, pretend it's here now. You put a buy stop up here somewhere and a sell stop down here, maybe 25 pips above. I'm just using that as an example, depending on the volatility. Nothing is set in stone. Oh, Roger said 25. Well, 25 of the NAS is sod all. 25 on NGAS is a lot, even though it's not a forex. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get the point across. Okay, so maybe just plus minus 25 buy stop, 25 buy sell below, and then if the CPI comes up the same, maybe cancel them both and take it from there. If it comes up and the effect has on a move up and it grabs that, great. What suggests you've got to be on the ball here. If it goes up quite a lot, get your stop up into profit, get rid of this one here. So it's not sitting there in case you get a whiplash taking that one in, and then move up. You've got to be on the ball for this and start moving, modifying your stops upwards until eventually comes off and stops you out. You make a quick buck or two, and vice versa. If that is beyond you, I ain't going to go through it again. If that is beyond you, you're not yet ready to try that one, which is quite common. Not a pros, but the fact is they've been driving for a while. If you're battling to understand the concept at this stage, don't have a go at it. You will get it wrong, and then you're going to be pissed off and you'll blame me. And you might not blame me, or not, it's not even matter, but I mean, you'll be pissed off. And I don't want you pissed off. I don't want you to learn hard in cash just because you drive a little bit faster than your experience allows you to, if you see what I mean. Okay, and it could. That's just nothing guaranteed. You could have a whiplash. You could bang in, you've got to be on the ball. If it goes that way, maybe even before you even move your stop. You would have a stop, by the way. You ignore the stop because you're covered by the buy stop and the sell stop. So you don't have a stop loss or a TP. We'll not put a TP in if you want. Yeah, put a TP in if it turns you on. But you wouldn't put a stop in. Just a buy stop, sell stop without a stop loss, and then probably quickly delete that, then move that stop up, just so in case it didn't whiplash down. Doesn't happen very often. I don't put the scare of God do. Those don't happen that often, so I wouldn't panic on that basis. But just saying, be aware. Okay, and then if you get it right, you can make a quick buck, and it's a very nice way to end the day on. Okay, so yeah, I'm not a trading stop. No, it's to buy sell stop. No, you're a trading stop. No, don't disagree. I'm not that fond of trading stops, to be honest. I think if you do take the trouble to earn a buck, take the time and trouble to have your phone handy to modify so you're in control. No, I'm not in favour of it. If you want to use it, up to you. That's my take. Okay, so we'll move on from that one. We'll come to the shares in a minute and everything else. This, as I said many times before, guys, if a guy posts a trading a pair up there or an idea up there, that takes precedence. Okay, NZD CHF. Right, oh, that's one of ours. Yeah, it's hovering. Do you want to join it now? I actually don't see why not. It's not a euro, it's not a pound, it's not a dollar. If you like it, yeah, we got one out. We got one. I must admit, slightly cheaper than that. We're selling it to get a slightly better price. If you're trying to buy it, you might have a different point of view. But I'm looking at this here as the high, and it's in the sell zone on the weekly. I'm looking at the day one. Just a second. Let's put a bit more info on it. It's in the neutral zone there, so you can sell it. Okay. So the sell zone, the weekly, and you can sell or buy it. Plus, it's high. I quite like the Swissy. I think New Zealand's okay, but the Swissy's pretty damn okay as well. And it's had a hell of a run since October. October, November, practically 2 months. It's gone up by, what's it, 420 odd pips. I think there could be a chance. Anyway, whatever reason, that's what we put together, what I've just thrown out there as a sell. And it was slightly in profit earlier on. In fact, I think it was earlier on this morning, last night, I can't remember. It actually broke through 59 and it popped up again. So we're at 21. We've been in profit. We're slightly in arrears at the moment. Don't know what you feel about it, Mikhail, but if you want to join it now, it's outside the dollar, euro, and all that range. I have no problem with that. And you agree on the shorts? Or you can wait for tomorrow if you like, but they're not. If it's a dollar or euro, I'd be more nervous. I think this one you can go for it. I'll be honest, I haven't a problem you going for it. I've got the figures here already. If you want to put a risk reward up for it, I can. If somebody else wants to join you, I'll put it up with pleasure. Do you want the risk reward up again? I've got the figures out here. In fact, get a price. I'll use the same ones. You get a slightly better risk reward. Okay, Tony, where is it now? 6,000 or 0.6 thousand, that is. Right, 5740. Yeah, you see, you get a better risk reward when we went in. It's 10 pips slightly risk. So you give you a better price. Don't forget, those are my WhatsApp group. Hang on, just let this guy in here. Those are my WhatsApp group. I always say suggest a buy or sell around or better. So remember, if you don't put a sell stop on here, it's a better price. So if you want that, it's a nice risk reward ratio at about 120 bucks a micro. I'm not in favor of very close stops. I don't want to get knocked out in the noise and then it comes off. It's happened to me before, and I don't want it to happen to you guys where stops a bit tight, you did the right trade, stops you out in the loss and screens off and you're not on board. Rather wider stop and reduce the position size, you know what I'm saying? But always remember, must have this. This is the biggest killer of the lot. It's incorrect volumes. Incorrect volumes. And I've seen guys not even consistent ones. In other words, you got X amount in your account and your risk is, let's say, 0.04. They call it 4 micros. Then you go 1 milli on one, 1 micro another, 6 micros another one. Well, it depends. You know, try and keep consistent. If your winter is 500 rand, stick with 500, not 201 and 1,000 on another one. Try and be disciplined, consistent on that. Okay. So there you are. If you want it, join it. I'm not writing it down because we already had the training one out from yesterday. But those who missed out, you should have missed out, Isabel. You're on my group. You better be. If you're not, I'm going to bung you on sharpish. You're on my group, Isabel. If you're not, please tell me because I'll bung you on. I've got a QT WhatsApp group where you get trading signals, you get trading daily economic updates and other bits of information. I think there's a lot of benefit to be on it, but I would do it's my group. But I seriously think the feedback is benefiting a lot of people. You should be on that group. Well, hang on, I'll come to it now. I'm more worried about. Hang on, how come you're not on it? Isabel, you should be on it. I don't know what you're not doing. Just a second. Yeah, you're a great client. Okay, Isabel Reedman. I do beg your pardon. Okay, I'll just NB. I'll do it after 11 o'clock. Okay. Before I get about the WhatsApp group, it's going to come back to that. I don't know why you're not on it. I thought I'd put you on there. I don't know why you're not on it. Okay, I'll sort that out sharpish. Okay, so no wonder you're not on it. Well, actually, funny enough, promoting my group was actually just done you a bloody favor there, Isabel, because we got it at 21. So you got a better option, get a better price. So there you are. Don't be on my group. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, so where were we? Yeah. So if you want to join, there you are. I'm not putting it down because we're already on board, but those are not on board. Those are the figures. You put in the 126 of micros, your risk. You know what you can afford to risk. Go for it from there. Okay. Okay, all good. Can I move on? Got that? Always. For sure, Jack. I thought you were on as well. Thanks. Just write your name down. I'll sort that out. Because your name came up on my WhatsApp, clearly I've got your details. Okay, I'll sort you out there. Okay. Please repeat on what, Siyabonga. I've been doing a lot of rattling away here. Repeat on what specific one. Because after your pen and paper, you've got to be on the ball. A little tip here, if it's moving, it's not moving big time. If it's moving quick, get yourself in the trade if you've worked it out and you like it, and then modify SL&TP afterwards. If you're putting SL&TP as you're entering, and it takes you a few minutes to do that, you might suddenly find you missed out 10 pips profit, or you might get a better price. You know what I mean? So just a little bit of tip. Can I knock this off then? Okay, if you want to do this trade, Siyabonga, there it is. So I'm going to move on a moment. Okay, you got it. Move on. Good stuff. I've got it. We always come back to it. It's not a problem. It's easy enough. I missed it. Okay, now I just want to mention about the group. I mean, never mind if it's my group or not. I'm trying to be objective here. I think it's very important that people should be a member, but they have to have a minimum of 2.5K. Right. What do you get as a member? Does it cost you anything? And if you want to make a contribution, you can do. I've got a charity called Rogers Charity to repair his luxury yacht in the Bahamas, and you can give to that charity with pleasure if you like. Just kidding. It's free of charge. Okay. So I thought you'd be on as well. Sorry in there. So it's free of charge. What are the benefits before we come to the balance? Well, no, the balance, 2.5 grand. That money is yours, but don't come to me and it's your balance. But the reason why the balance is we get quite a few trades out. This month in November, which is finishing today, I've got about nearly 40 trades out. So you're going to get a lot of trades, and it's taken off in the last week or so. I think we've got about 12 out, something like that. So you're getting quite a few signals we send out. I can't guarantee you're going to get that many every day. Nothing's guaranteed. What I'm trying to get across is, if you've got 500 or 600 or grand in your account, you won't be able to make use of all the signals. You don't have the capital. And so what are you going to do then? Either overexpose by trying to go into them all, or you've got to pick one. Now, you'll say to me, which one do you think's the best? Well, I can't answer that. I think they're all good. I don't know what's going to turn out right and what's going to go wrong. I'm not going to say, oh, I'll send that anyway, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go wrong. Obviously, I'll just send them out because I think they're good. And I get surprised. I thought ABC would take off and BBC was a bit iffy. BBC takes off and ABC knocks me out at a loss. You don't know. So you've got to pick one. And if 4 come out, you might pick the wrong one and you haven't done yourself any favors. Bottom line, like all business, you're undercapitalized. That's what I'm trying to get through to you guys. You're trying to tackle $1 trillion business. It's like trying to tackle a tank with a bow and arrow. You need a bit of capital. You need to be able to diversify. You know, you can't just go into one. If you've got 500 rand, you go to 0.01, the smallest one, and that's it. Once you go over that, whether you're highly leveraged or not, you're risking margin call. You're undercapitalized. You're going out on the town in I don't know, Soho in London with £3 in your back pocket. You're not going to have a good time. You're undercapitalized. So 2.5 is the minimum. If you've got 2,500 rand, I'll upload you as a member of the group. And what you do is you send me a WhatsApp. I'll write it down now. But please, I get busy. Don't send me, or please put me on it, but I've only got, I'm going to do it next week or whatever. No. If you've got 2.5, I will check it. And if you haven't, you're not going on. Sorry about that, but I've got to be fair on everybody else. 06 29 3031. I've already got you down, Isabel and Jared. Sorry, because I've got your details. So you don't have to send me anything. But those guys who want to be on it, send me a name, not George. I need George Smith, trading real account number 1263456, 123456, 6-figure number. Then I can quickly check. He gets busy, and then from there, if it's all okay, I'll WhatsApp you my contact details, and then I'll money on as a member. Okay. Now, Fani, you're a member. You can be a third party. What do you call it? What do you call them? You get these. Can't think of the right word for it now. Backup. Can't think of the right word. Affirmation, whatever it is. Finally, do you think you've benefited from being a member of the group? You're right there, Sean. Yeah. If you have, just say so. If you haven't, well, stop them making members. Say no, it's bloody rubbish. Forget it, mate. At least we're trying to be honest here. Okay, so yeah, just a bit more down your message. I don't know why. Okay, so anyway, yeah, okay, so you've got my details. You can WhatsApp me, like I mentioned. Thanks, Pietro. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. The case of Blue Label whiskey, I put it DHL will have your post tomorrow to you. Okay, thanks for that, Sean. But joking apart, thanks, guys. Okay, so you've got the WhatsApp information. Just WhatsApp me your full details, and I'll upload it if you've got 2.5. Okay. And so far, I'm not saying always to be continued, but we've had over 70% hit rate. Okay, so we're going to move on. You've got that one, the NZD CHF, so you should be fine on that. Any of the ones we mentioned you want to go back to, please mention. We can look at it. If you want to enter, we can look at it again. I've got the stuff written down. We can do that. Okay. Now, just quickly go to the shares because it was asked about. We've had quite a few out. Apple. The trading room, we're ahead of the guys. We got in just below 147. We're laughing. When it was sent out, I think didn't reach the entry points. So a lot of guys might not have got on board, but the guys in the TR were on board, and they're up about $7, just under that per share. We can't do anything about the shares now. The market's closed on shares. But if it opens, you know, profit, don't forget to modify your stop loss to protect. We don't want to turn winners into losers. Okay, so that's doing okay. This BA makes NGAS seem quite exciting. This has been hovering since Pontius Pilate first got his flying wings in that sort of side direction, or the Dead Sea first reported 6, another famous saying. In other words, a long time. It's been in profit, it's been slightly out, we've got a 174, it's hovering. It's not a disaster, it's just boring. Okay, so we'll move on. Baba, we got in 80 odd, and it's not exactly shooting the lights out, doing a lot better than I expected. Baba on the upside, but we shorted it. Not break even now, so it's not exactly a disaster, but it's a bit disappointing, but at least it's not losing. Just let in this gentleman here. You want to buy it now? Can if you want. You'll be a bit pushed. You can't. Market's closed, mate. F stop's doing okay. Got in at 14 somewhere. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, it's doing okay. Blah blah blah. It's going back a bit. Let's have a look. HPQ. I think most guys are out of this. That was based on the fundamental going in. Wasn't my idea, to be fair. It was Jark's idea. Jark is the manager. And he said he'd read a fundamental saying there's going to be a few guys laid up, which could be also something I can't remember. It's a fundamental, likely could have a bit of a jump in it. So we sent it out, not on technicals, nothing to do with the technicals, pure on the fundamental. It actually turned out okay. I think most of the guys, on my advice, modify the stop and the profit. You've been stopped out in the profit. So I think that's finito now. But anyway, made a couple of bucks. So far, so good for all of them. Microsoft was abused. It's pretty near TP. Again, I'm afraid that wasn't my idea. Credit where credit's due. That was Jark's idea. I just mentioned. He got in. We got in at 2. What the hell was it now? 2 days ago. Just give me a second. Microsoft. Where was it now? Just give me a second. It was about 200 and I can't remember. 247, 248, something like that. Anyway. Nice in profit, 236 is our TP, and it's pretty close to it. Yeah. Okay, 245. Well, I think we got better on Microsoft. I think it's slightly higher than that. Anyway, whatever it is, we're in a nice profit now. I think most of the guys are modified. So they cannot lose in that trade. They've got a nice little profit in there. Whatever happens, either get stopped out. And see if we can get to 236 TP. Depends what the NAS does. NAS is looking pretty weak at the moment, so we might get there later on today with a bit of luck. So that's another good one. So doing all right with these. Netflix already in a profit. Most guys are stopped out in a profit. I think it was 280 was the actual TP. If they're still in, it's 60 cents. I haven't got there. Did you get there yesterday? Yeah, it hit your TP. So you still hit your TP. If you modified your stop to 283, like I suggested, you'd have been stopped out at 283. Whatever, that's finito, nice profit. Tesla, same story. 2750 your stop. Thank you, Sean. Someone's on the ball here. Thought it wasn't 245, 247. So that's already nearly $8 a share in profit. What a pleasure. Okay. Thank you for that. So looks like all of ours are in profit except BA, and BA is not exactly a loser of profit, just basically hovering. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good hit rate on shares. In fact, that's a phenomenal hit rate on shares. Abnormally good. Makes me worry it's that good. Start taking stress, and you get a loser, and you think, what have I done wrong now? Forgetting it that you're gonna get them, sort of thing. Okay, so they were, all of them seem to be okay. Oh yeah, there was one. Just talk about loser, remind me. Coca-Cola didn't work out too well. I have to be honest, that was my idea. Actually, most of them are, to be fair. The good ones are as well. But this one was a sell, and it hit the 63 stop loss. But cut me some slack, guys, out of the shares. One baddie after that lot is not too bad. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so that covered that. I've mentioned to you the DXY, I've copy and pasted, economic calendar, copy and pasted to you. We've gone and updated all our, quite a bit to go through, eh? All our Forex. I've mentioned my WhatsApp membership, group WhatsApp membership, QT group membership, and now economic calendar. Thanks for that, Sean. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your support. But all the support, I thank you. Anyone who doesn't support me, well, I shall burst into tears, and that is not a pretty sight. Okay. Oh yeah, economic calendar. I think I'm going to take a couple of moments to share this, if you excuse me, because it's quite important. Stop the share, sort of show, because it's quite important. This. Can you all see it? Hope you can all see it. If you can't, please tell me. Okay, good. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, we need good on the ball. Bang, done. Right, AUD CPI is today, isn't it? Make sure it's yeah. Haven't given us any figure there, quite know why. Oh, it hasn't anyway. Okay, China 48, slightly lower than expected, which in theory is not good for the yuan, I pronounce it. But anyway, that's the way it is. Right, German unemployment coming out just as we close here and there. We'll see how that goes. More important, 12 o'clock, you can see CPA. Yuan, yeah. Yeah, that's the one, yeah. CPI, that's important. Keep an eye on that. Expected 10.4. We can't trade into, though. Well, don't we have the yuan as a trade instrument? Yeah. Okay, anyway, sorry. Forget about the yuan. Let's stick with the euro at the moment. China is more of an exporter than importer, whereas America is not a big economy to buy and sell stuff. So you've got to remember that, number one. And number two, it affects us to a certain extent. Yes, of course it does. But keep rather more eye on euro and particularly United States at the moment. Have that as a background, like Japan and Britain. Okay, like overcomplicating it. Okay, CPI 12 o'clock on the euro. Hope you've all got that. Keep a note on it. I know you should all have that filtered economic calendar. I posted it. Put a little note down. Don't jump in the euro. Just when you know in a couple hours' time, get a CPI figure. Right. Automatic data processing, ADP, non-farm change. That was supposed to be some indicator what's likely to happen on the jobs report on Friday. I hate to say it, it's more wrong than it's right. If it's better, it's supposed to be better non-farm. Not always the case. So it's an indicator, leave it at that. But I wouldn't act too much on it. But it does have an effect because expectations will be there. So if it's a bit higher, it will look inflationary. If it's a bit lower, it looks like the high interest rates are doing their job. So, yeah, well, maybe, but we haven't got the stuff. Anyway, okay. So that's the precursor of the jobs report, the one at 3:15. GDP, and there's another one, gross domestic product on the quarter, Q3, 3:30. The job openings, more job openings are coming about, also important, 5 o'clock. Pentagon sales, not as important, but still important, it's like 3 stars, 5 o'clock. And then our good friend Jerome is speaking at 8:30. So expect quiet to volatility later on. Expect quiet to volatility going later on. Be careful. Even if you're not in the dollar or the euro or something like that, it does affect in all sorts of weird ways on world markets, shares, everything. So just be well aware of that. Okay, hope you all got that stuff. That's the big one. If you haven't got, oh, I get you, Sushmi now. So I get you now, Sean. Okay. Right. Okay, so you should all have this calendar because I posted it. If you haven't, I'll repost it. You've got to have this. Very important. Tomorrow, I'll just do this now. I've got you up and running here. Forget China, look at Europe. Again, manufacturing and Germany. Not as important as Europe, it's there. PMI coming out on the pound. Purchasing, consumer purchasing. Keep feeling this. Purchasing consumer expenditure is coming out. That is coming out +3 in the US. Jobless claims, that's every week, also important, a bit of a precursor to the big one tomorrow, on Friday rather, and the manufacturing coming up on the Purchasing Manager Index coming up again at 5 o'clock, quite a few there. Quickly go to Friday, we know about the long farms coming up on Friday, so it's quite hectic, just bear that in mind. I'll stop the share, so I don't ever do it to put the fear of God in you, and you need to make you guys aware. Last thing I want to do is jump in, brilliant technical analysis, really know what you're doing, and suddenly get smacked and you don't know why. It's because funding will overrule it if it's excessively different to expectations. To be fair, you might get lucky. If you do, don't think you suddenly found the guru to print money, you got lucky. Don't give up if you did it and you got unlucky. The fundamentals overcame it. And that's a flick of the coin. Okay, a lot I've said there, but I hope you got that all. I've hit you with quite a lot of stuff there, so we can unpack it a bit if you want to go into any questions on that. But I need you to be aware, because this is important. Important as regards your bank balance, that is. Okay, any questions on that one? Anyone update a bit more on? Or you're so confused you don't know whether to jump in the lake or not. One guy's already left the discussion. She might have been called away, I don't know. I've no idea. I don't see why it should do. Anything could happen to fundamentals. The Nasdaq's a little bit on the low side, but sideways. It's impossible to call. Impossible to call. The news comes out that it's going to make the dollar pretty weak, the yields very weak. We could have a jump in the share prices, vice versa. I can't make that call. What I think, I'll tell you what I think, but it's completely, utterly irrelevant. And I'd rather not, in case it biases you and I get the wrong 50% call. Okay. A bit more of a jump. The dollar, it's sides, isn't it? The yen now it's a little bit prettier, whatever, jumping around. Okay, so just be aware, and it's good for newer guys coming in. Anyone coming showing the drawing, I've no problem with that. But the couple things you do need to have some basic classes behind you. If you come in fresh off the street, so to speak, you're going to wonder what the hell's going on. It's like joining there's a 4-year course and you join the 4th year. You need the 1st year as well. Otherwise, you don't know what's going on. Okay, so it's a new guys. I've got to mention this again. This is a trading room, as in the name. It's not a training room. I'm trying to get away from, I'll come to that in a minute, I'm trying to get away from a lot of guys coming with small cash and not enough, or they haven't got enough, or they don't want to go and fork out for a training package like most people have done here. And they want to just come and start trading. And I think we're going to get some free training here. I'm sorry, don't disappoint you guys, but that's not going to happen. I'm here to go with trades, discuss trades, number one, and then other practical aspects, strategies, and then clarify what you've already learned, not teach you what you don't know. That is for the classes, and people pay good money for that. You don't go to a law firm and say, I want a job, you teach me. No, they say, go to college, get your law degree, and then we'll have a look at you afterwards. Same sort of principle. So we'll make that quite clear. It's not fair on the traders, and it's not fair on the guys who forked out the course and did the effort. We're here to help with strategies. It's vital you do it, but you need the basics to work on. Don't go to university, study maths. You know what 10 and 10 is. It depends on the situation. The NZD CHF TD, I have no problem going in now. But if it's to do with the euro or the dollar, I would suggest to you don't enter any new position at the moment. No. You can't enter shares, irrelevant, but I'd include the indices as well. And you say, what about the overseas ones? The overseas ones, quite frankly, tend to follow the Americans anyway. So even the pound a bit iffy. I think he's talking tomorrow as well. Some came out the pound tomorrow, if I remember rightly. Maybe the pound give it a bit of a swerve at the moment. It is very close to the euro. Do a lot of trade in the eurozone, even though after Brexit they are obviously dependent now. So I'd sort of say pound to a less extent, but I'd say euro and dollar be a bit careful at the moment. If you're in, don't jump out. That's fine. But I'll be hesitant about jumping in a dollar or a euro at the moment, and to a lesser extent the pound. But the NZD CHF, well, I wouldn't have a problem if you went short on that one, or long if you prefer it. Or I can answer that one. It says, Sean says, aren't nice to uneducated people. I'm going to tell you something here. I'll extrapolate on that, Sean. The world is not nice to uneducated people, unfortunately. Yeah. I'll tell you what I mean by that. I think there's a lot of money in golf, so I'm going to go and buy a bag. I'm going to go and get a couple of second-hand golf clubs and go and play with Tiger Woods and wonder why he beats me. You get the idea. Now that's another point. I want to bring up something else Sean's saying there, because that's past experience. The trouble is, guys go in on a highly volatile index. They don't know how volatile. They don't know anything about it. Heard somewhere that's exciting, so I'll jump in on the NAS. They don't have enough money. They don't know where to put the stop. They don't know the volatility. They don't know the properties of the instrument they're going into. It comes back and bites. As simple as that. I didn't know I'm driving 180 officer in an 80K zone because my speedometer is not working. Well, that's not an excuse. You should be driving with a speedometer that works and knowing the rules of the road. If you think so, but looking at games now and saying not doing too good. But anyway, the major thing for what Sean's saying is benefit for getting some education involved. It should be common sense, but you benefit. It's doing all right. It's coming off a bit. NZD's coming off a bit. They're all high risk. This is leverage instruments. They're all high risk. But we get the odds on our side by learning to find out what the hell you're doing. And so far, it's been proofs in the pudding. If you check all the guys on the WhatsApp there, more winners than losers. We've discussed openly here. We're not faking it. We're not doing the YouTube. We get a demo account out and then talk about our winners that happened in the past. And we carefully edited to make sure they are, because it's what's happened in the past. This is live in front of you. I can't cheat on that, because I don't know what's going to happen to that. It's going to go up or down, you know, which is going up at the moment, thank goodness. You get the point. But yeah. It's coming off at the moment. NZD CHF, it's slightly in profit now. And you got in the 31 a few moments ago, Isabel and company, who luckily were not, hate to say it, on my group WhatsApp. Got in a 10 pip better price, so 12 pips up. That's okay. But that's just luck with the draw. If you can, but you've got to know what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with it. But know it. And please, as said in my weekly snippet, don't start playing around the NAS. unless you've got a few K in your account, because you're gonna margin call back, come up and bounce. Just because you've got a high leverage account doesn't mean you're going to overexpose. No. Hey, all right, you got lucky today. Then you'll get unlucky tomorrow because there's luck is driving it. No. Be careful. Don't try and make 100% a day. It's not going to happen. One day it will, but not every day. Right, Keone, do the classes first. Yeah, do the classes first. And the LMS guys, these are tools meant to help you. That's another point I'm going to bring up, guys. It's going to be fairly quiet. Well, the house always wins. That's why the advertising there, all these casinos, etc. Why they're doing it? Because in the charity business, well, come on. Right, just want to just go on that. LMS, yeah. These tools, right. The company, not me, the SMC guys, the educational package guys, spend a large amount of money, time, and effort to upgrade that for your benefit with videos and understanding, etc. It's like this brilliant book you just bought, but you got to read it, you got to look at it, and they try and make it easier for you with Zoom classes, with videos. But if you, some guys pay for it and don't even open it up, and wonder why it's not working for them. Go figure. It's like a guy we had the other day. Put in £5 and asked if he could trade there. I said, no, you can't. So I put another 15 up to 20. Can I trade then? I said, no, you can't. And he got quite shirty with me. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say to that. You got me beat, mate. We talk like that, you got me beat. Yeah. I went out to a restaurant the other day with 20 rand in my pocket, and I couldn't find any decent meals for me and myself and my wife to eat. What? You know what I mean? It's just, this defies understanding. Okay, these tools are meant to help you. Absolutely. I started trading after being attending class. I lost a bit of money at the beginning because of the lesson. So I'm understand right things. I'm able to move after that. Trends and you as a trader. Yeah, exactly. And you benefit by taking the FT coming more often. Yeah, okay, guys. Sure. This IB thing here. Yeah, it's a trading room. It's not a networking setup here. But if you want, you can. There he is. Sean's talent for the business there. But if it benefits you, what a pleasure. No problem. Yeah, but not just information is key. It's correct information, how to interpret it. Because they call it information technology. We're bombarded with information, but a lot of it is half-truths. Not outright lies, but half-truths. You know what I mean? Leaving out certain bits and pieces could change the story. Okay, sure, good enough. All right, okay, so I hope we're all clear. I've covered quite a bit on that. Yeah, so NZDCHF is actually starting to come right. We could pop up again, but at least it's looking prettier. The US dollar JPY is starting to come right a little bit. Yep, that's going up a bit, so that's nice. If you're still in it, if you're not, fair enough. Don't join it now. It's still seem to be progressing okay. There's a EuroCAD. It's another one that's starting to improve. I'm out of that, like I mentioned. But if you're still in, hold on. It's starting to improve again. So that's fine. It's doing okay. CAD-JPY, so pretty, we'll leave that alone. CAD-JPY on that subject. If we can get a pullback on the weekly to this level here, I think a great opportunity. But I think just give this a miss at the moment. Every time I thought it got going, it's pulled back a bit. So maybe it's give it a miss. CHF JPY is taken off again. What a pleasure. We've got it at 145.30. It's a bit iffy about an hour ago. See how the markets go up and down, guys? A bit iffy an hour or so ago. Now look at it. They're nice in profit. I think to be safe, maybe get your stop loss maybe at 145.40. You'll make a couple of bucks. It won't be much, but at least you're protecting yourself in case it flies off again. If you don't want to do that, because you're hoping you might get a bit of profit, you don't want to risk getting stopped out. That's up to you. But that being as it may, at least we're in profit on that one. It becomes habit, just like changing gear, Sean. I mean, I can look at a chart now and I can read it within a second. I need to maybe look into it more and see if I'm going to trade it or not, but I can pick up most of the information quickly. That's just practice. You'll get there. This is not brain science, you know what I mean? Euro dollar is hovering, but it's don't join it now. Leave it alone, like I mentioned. Euro and the dollar both coming out today in the next couple of days. Leave it alone. If you're in, It's trying to drag itself down. It's a bit sideways, so it's not too bad. Yeah, so we've covered quite a few. CHFD was in okay, and ZD is okay at the moment. Euro AD, US dollar, yeah, they all seem to be doing okay at the moment. Sell on that last. Golds is a bit iffy, very iffy. I think leave gold alone. Sorry, wrong one there. Put the 4 out for gold. Leave it alone. Technically, that could break out, but depends on fundamentals. So leave it alone. If you're in, you got your stop. Hope it comes right. It's very sideways. Brent, that's a good point. It's another one. Brent. Another one we got. Some guys didn't read the signal properly. It said we were already at 80 odds, so we're all right trading with Marines. We're okay, Jack. But it was sent out, and the price at the time was in the 85 mark, 85.50. I don't know what it was. And it clearly said in the signal, suggest a buy 84.00. I know for a fact some guys didn't see that or didn't read it properly, just jumped flying in. And I don't know if they did all right or not. But the point is the guys who put a pending order in, I buy limited 84, into 84, are in profit. It's come off a little bit above 85 earlier on. So they would be in profit. I'm suggesting you could even start moving your stop if you like. That's up to you. I do not suggest you join at this price. Stick to the signal. Please, guys, read the signal. 84 or better. Better if you're going long, be 84 or lower price. If you're going short, 84 better, be 84 or a higher price to enter. Higher price be better on a short. Read the signal and use a bit of, just a bit of real common sense on that one. Okay, so we count that from our point of view as a winning trade. If you jumped in at 1% out, it was 85, and you're a loser. Sorry, guys, you didn't read it. It's not our fault. I'm very insightful at the moment. I wouldn't be joining now anyway. 84 was our idea to join 84, and it turned out it came to 4 cents below that and bounced. Got that right. So if you're in, hold. Many modify your stop. That's up to you, but I wouldn't be joining it now. No. I think it's upside, but I've been caught that CAD JPY at 103 came off. And even today, let's look at the hourly chart. This is only 3 hours old. It dipped back below 102. I think 102 might hold. I mentioned just now on the weekly, it might get back to 101 for a bounce. So I'm nervous for that reason, because it could happen that way. But this looks like the buyers are defending. Look at this here. See how the supports work? There we are. So if you want to take a risk, remember it's CAD, but CAD's got some stuff coming out on the fundamental front as well, don't forget. But if you want to take a risk, that's up to you. I'm not putting down the trading idea, unless you'll insist I do. You can have a stop down there. So just hang on. You're risking about 100 pips stop on that, which is about $10 odd per micro. We can look at it if you want, and then you're going to take a TP. You're going to have to take a TP above to make it worthwhile. That ain't going to cut it. So you're going to take your TP to there. Do you want to do that one now, or just want to wait to get a better price, or what? I'm a bit iffy. If you join Brent, would you buy or sell it? My preference is the upside, but I wouldn't be joining it now, Jared. Sean responded to Jared's question. If I was forced to join right this moment, I would be a buy. I agree on that. If I said I was forced to join the CAD JPY right now, it would be a buy. Going against me, it'd be a buy, but I'm a little bit susceptible. It's not seem to be getting going. It should be, but some fund is coming out. I think the Canadians undersold, oversold, sure, and Japanese yen I think is overbought. So I'm very much inclined to the upside, but either wait for the bounce off this level here, the line is there, or I don't know, leave it alone or whatever. But for an aggressive one, you can look at it. But I definitely prefer it alongside whatever you do. Okay. Anyone want to comment on this one, or should we move along? Brent is still good at Brent if you like. I'm happy with the 84 entry. If you put a pending in for 84, I'm happy. If you don't like pending, you wait to 84, it's up to you. But I prefer to be an 84. And it's seen to retrace as we speak. Okay. When I looked at earlier on some aggressive trades or range trade, you might like to look at. DCHF. Might have missed it. This looks more of an aggressive range trade. Seem to be hovering around this range. Can you see this range on the daily? And it's about an 80 pip range, so it's quite a tight range. And it's been going there since the 9th of November. What's the date today? 3 weeks. It's been a sideways range. This is super aggressive. It's not for people who don't know what I'm talking about. Super aggressive. Maybe a stop up here. Maybe slightly higher. Yeah, put a stop there, about 35 pip stop, and aim down here for a 75 pip TP as a range trade. It's halfway above there and below that. The 200's up there, so we're not in the sell or buy range. At the moment, the sort of lower end of the neutral range trade. Anyone like this as a range trade for an aggressive, the word is aggressive range trade. Anyone like that one? 35 stops, 75 pip TP. Anyone like to look at that? It's the best I can come up with. It will not be sent out, and I will not put on my QT group just for the trading room. Anyone do an aggressive one? Gerard likes it. Remember, Gerard used to be a chief operator for the Special Delta Marine Forces, eh? So he's got some nerve there. Okay. Well, it's just a range trade if you want to look at it. Somebody keep you going in the meantime. There we are. And down here, the TP 6310, call it. Okay, I'll get you 2 to 1, 60 odd bucks a micro. Well, yeah, depending on the busyness of the person sending it out. You know, we get signals out, and it might have another meeting. It gets quite busy at management level, might have another meeting somewhere, so you haven't got time to put the video out. But on my group, I tend to put a right click, have a copy of the chart, and I say suggest a buy or a sell, blah, 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 instead of that anyway. So it's the time to put it out. I don't send the videos out. And, you know, by the time they watch the videos, some guys might not understand it, and maybe the ship's sailed, I don't know. But some they do, some they don't. Go and tell that with management. Well, that's what you should be doing, sure. But that big as it may, if you got 2.5 in the account, Mr. Zulu, I'm not sure if you're on there or not. If you've got 2.5 or more in your account, you can WhatsApp me. I think you got my number, and I'll update you onto my QT, a member of my QT group, where you get the signals, where you get a copy of the chart, and then below it suggest a buy or sell, entry, TP, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay, so anyone want to do that aggressive trade? Gerard seems fairly keen. Anybody else? Well, you hope there's some sort of reasonable opinion. Anybody else want to do this? Gerard spend some interest. Anyone else want to do this aggressive range trade? Right, Gerard's in. Anyone else to join him? Okay, Jared, make you a trading Rambo. 63.83, 64.20, 0.6310. but aggressive. So don't cry if it comes back and bites. Just want to warn you, aggressive trades can sometimes, as long as you're in the right position, don't hurt. So if you can afford, let's say 120 rand, if it goes wrong, you're going for 2 micros. If you can't afford it, don't do it. That's an intelligent way to look at it. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it, Sean. I mean, like I value yours, or some of the other guys trade before, and then you form it together, and then you put a bit of experience and you act on it. And the market doesn't do as it's bloody told. Well, it's like my wife. Not married, it's only a joke. That's not a bad number, hey? Yeah. Is it? Okay. Well, maybe we can get them to trade and they'll pick it up quickly. They're young, they'll know the computer stuff, the tech stuff, they'll learn quickly. By 6 months' time, they'll show you what to do. It's unnerving. Okay, so let's see how that performs. Right, those I'll put it up again if you want. Knock it off for the time being. Right, I should have checked the 4 hours. 4 hours, that's same thing. Good. Weekly, no problems there. Should always check the low time zone just in case. It's a range trade, not about trend lines, Fibonacci, BBC, ITU, SABC. It's a range trade. See if it works out. And I'm slightly in favor of a bit of downside there. You did a bit of strength of CHF, so I prefer the downside to the up anyway. I've been looking about that this morning. Got wild looking at it. Look, fun enough US CAD this morning. They call it the Loonie, by the way. So talk about the Loon. That's what I mean. I knew there was something. I thought, are we getting to the buy zone here? The buy zone, or what's it? Yeah, the buy zone here. Remember the 200 and the 50 above both. It's the buy zone. Hasn't quite got there yet. Defended. You seem to defend the moment. So I'm hesitant. Plus, it's the dollar, and Canadians come up with something as well. So I'm a bit hesitant on it for that reason. Otherwise, I did look at it, I have to be honest, this morning. And that's why I triggered a memory when you asked for that, Sean. I'm looking for a breakout to the north here. And it could happen. I mean, if it comes in, the fundies come in, you could have it screaming up here, but then you'll be joining it. Yeah, maybe put a buy stop there, sell stop there, see what happens. But not now, before the funding comes out. It's indecisive. Remember, it's 10 hours, 40 minutes old, that candle. And the buyers are coming in and the sellers are coming. Look at those wicks. So I wouldn't be joining that now. Plus, it's a dollar. Morning, Miss Vedna. Yeah. Settle down. Tell you what, should be an interesting next couple of days, eh? Personally, I don't know about you, Sean, or anybody there really, not just yourself, but I'd rather have this sort of excitement coming in from the sort of paint drying job, but nothing's happening, no fundamentals, no movement in the markets. That drives me insane. It's true. I like that, yeah. Today it's doing a waltz. In fact, I think it's more doing a slow foxtrot. I don't know how long Sean's been doing it, but I bet he hasn't studied 4 years like a doctor, a dentist, or an engineer, or a lawyer, or whatever. So that should be, in theory, good news. There's a lot of guys think I've got years I'm going to spend at this. No, you don't have to. If you tend to make the effort, you should start picking up quite a few, getting the idea in a month or so. Yeah, but probably one of those years you're floundering around a bit. And I've been this a while. Most of that time flounder around without anyone holding my hand. And there's a lot of guys, never tend to hear, who've come out with questions after been doing this about 6 months. The guy who'd been here a week would not know the answer to. Probably no one holding your hand, that's why. And a whole lot of BS's on, what's his name again? Lorenzo saying on the YouTube. all these guys standing up, smooth American accent, smartly dressed, telling you how you can make your fortune, Just remember, the smartphone is a fantastic tool, but unfortunately, especially on social media, there is a lot of, shall we say, BS. Just be careful of it. Well, there you are, and that's only happened recently, not the first year and the second year. Not many, you try and study a lawyer, you're in your first year degree, you're not even guaranteed you're going to pass the degree after 4 years, and then it's no good to you. So that's quite encouraging. And what Sean hasn't told, I'll tell you guys, well, he filmed the trick 20 times. So if he can do it, anybody can do it. Isn't that true, Sean? Hey? Filled it one more time than me. Okay, right, we've got a few moments. I don't mind clarification, guys. Okay, and the fib is an important tool, so you know it. Now, it depends where you think it's, are you going long or short? If you think it's going to go up, you're looking for a long, I would start, you hear my fib tool, you can see it there. I take the bottom here, and I take it to the top there, and I look for a bounce on the fib. My problem is 50-day moving average. We'll ignore that. We're talking about the fib now. Remember, this is very important. What about that candlestick formation? What about that trend line? What about that fib? I don't like it on its own. I like having 1 or 2 more than 3 preferably, but 2 anyway. So a fib alone won't do it for me. I need a bit more than that. Okay. So if the fib, let's say it's a 38.2 fib, and that line happened to be exactly on the line of that, it was coming back and it bounced off it, and the current state of affairs, the dollar was slightly stronger than the Canadian, that would be 3 already on my side to buy it. Then I wait for the confirmation, buy it. But a fib alone, bouncing off there, with this 50-day moving average getting in the way, with fundamentals coming out, even if it bounced off that, I would ignore it. 1 alone won't do it for me. Doesn't cut it. I like that. 1 alone doesn't cut it. Okay. Now you want to go short. It's the other way around. Obviously, the other way around. You start from here downwards. So I'm going to do a fib the other way around now. Expect it to. You're looking for a short. So you do this one here. Okay. So you want to short it. If that comes from the 61.8 and you're looking for a short, never mind fundamentals of the dollar Canadian. Ignore that. You're looking purely at the fib. If you expected the short on its own, it comes off there. That would be a short, and even then some guys took profit there. As you can see, it's like moved down a bit. There's a short to come off, that's fine. But before I shorted that on that information, make sure there's no fundies. Well, there are, so I'd ignore it. Then I'd say, am I looking for a short? Well, hang on a minute, I might be looking long. Dollar can be quite a lot stronger than the Canadian. The Canadian's a bit weak at the moment, or it could be sometimes a lot weaker depending on other aspects. So I'll be a bit careful of that. Then I've got this thing getting in the way here. There's more saying no. The fib is the only one saying positive. So I've like a piece of paper, no's and yeses. 3 no's, 1 yes. those outweigh the yeses, stand aside. So that's the reason I wouldn't short it. They'll always come off the fib. So if you're going short, you take from the top to the low. Always remember, do not use the candle that's still not completed. It's a work in progress. I would not use this candle here. You don't know how it's going to finish. It's only 11 hours old. You finish down there, you can finish up there for all you know. So you don't know. Sorry, this is what I'm talking about here. So you can use this candle, but you cannot use that candle. It's a work in progress. That makes sense. All right. Yep. Can't hear anything from my side. I'm sorry, Christian, if you can't, it's not being explained to you, because if you can't hear me, you can't hear me. But anyway, it's your sound system. Everyone else seems to be able to hear me. So it's you need to unmute or whatever. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Now, RSIs, stochastics, MACDs are all good indicators, very popular, actually called oscillators. The theory of the oscillator is supposed to have some sort of prediction of the future. In fact, all indicators are lagging the price action. Nothing wrong with that. You've got to remember that. It draws the information, giving you that strong high or low from what the price is doing. I'm okay with them. I'm not against them. I don't use them much. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't use them much. Bollinger Bands, a lot of people love them. If it worked for you, for goodness sake, stick with them. I don't use them much because I can tell the downtrend or the uptrend by looking at the candle. I don't need a RSI to tell me it's oversold, overbought. I can clearly look at the candle. I get that anyway. I'm more understand the fundies, keep an eye on the calendar, getting to know which is the slightly stronger currency and the weaker one. I obviously want to buy the stronger and sell the weaker one. And I like the fib, and I like absolutely overwhelming support resistance, and I like the 50 and the 200-day moving average as support resistance of filter. Why particularly those moving averages where they're lagging indicators? I'm not interested when they're crossing or uncrossing. I like them for no other reason, nothing more scientific than this, is because they are so widely used. They become almost, not quite, nothing self-fulfilling completely, but almost self-fulfilling because there's so many people using them. It's as simple as that. If everyone's buying Nike, it's going to take off. You get the idea. It doesn't say Nike's the better one. I always used Jerry Springer. Was that show good or bad? I thought it was complete drivel. But I'm going to invest in Jerry Springer because it took off. If it takes off, get in on it. You know what I mean? Even if it was, in my opinion, drivel. I might be a top restaurateur with a very, very good gourmet, you know. But if the McDonald's is doing well, I'll invest in that. You know what I mean? So it depends on the popularity of it. And the popularity of the 50 and the 200 simple, extremely high, very, very used. And it's been used a heck of a lot in these classes and with a very high percentage of working well. A profitable way, in other words, working well. I use this one 10-day for various reasons. My own choice, don't want to bother too much detail, it's okay. If you like the 20, stick with it. Like the 15.5, you like the exponential 16, go for it. But the 100 is quite popular as well. And some like the exponential ones as well. But the simple 50 and 200 are very widely used. No more, no less. It's a complete drivel. It doesn't matter. It's widely used, so after they become self-fulfilling. McCourse meat, no thanks. But you'll invest it if everyone else is eating it, it will make you a buck. You get the idea. Unless you're particularly like Muslim won't invest in, I don't know, alcohol, but that's another story. Okay, now, sorry, John, that's a good point. The most powerful fibs, but they're all good. The most powerful is the 50, the 38.2, and the 61.8. Those three are the most powerful of the fibs. Okay. Now that's intelligent. I like that. Now that gets away with you having invested in horse meat, which you're against. You don't like losing a buck, so you invest in the bloody healthcare company. So you win on both sides. Now that's intelligent. That's very good. Excellent. That's right. That's why you're a Muslim. You can't invest in alcohol companies. You invest in a healthcare company or Alcoholics Anonymous. So you make your bucks and you keep your conscience clear. No. It came in before that. I don't know if you're joking or not. It came in before that. That KO Coca-Cola one's been out for a couple of weeks now. I don't know if that's World Cup's going to do with that. I just went to it because, you know, they tend to go off in tandem. The market comes off, whether it's good or bad, they come off in tandem. The market's a bit weak. That's Trump decided to go up a bit. Nothing disastrous, nothing particularly complicated there. Okay, where were we? Let's have a quick, nearly coming up to closing time, till 4 o'clock anyway. Don't forget 12 o'clock, stuff's coming out in the euro, keep an eye on that. Just have a quick run through anything happening on the front there. AUD USD, still hovering, hang on in there. Shares we won't look at, no point. It's not open. CAD's jumping a bit, but I wouldn't jump in on it. CHF JPY, it's doing quite well now. So guys, make sure you covered on that one for a winning one. EUR AUD. No, so I keep looking at that one. EUR AUD. Jumping around doing nothing. We're in profit, it's just hovering. Thank you, Solid. Still a profit once, it's okay. And Euro USD, not pretty at the moment. A couple of pips up, it's hovering. It might come right, the fundamentals, depending on that one. Hold on in there. You got your stop. If you get lucky, great. If you don't, well, shame. Gold, yeah, I think it's going to break to the upside. So shame about that. Stops anyway. Shares will leave. We know about it. NZD CHF popped up again. It was doing very nice 20 minutes ago. It's popped up again. At least it's a bit of a profit or so. US dollar yen still doing okay. So most of them doing okay. AUD CHF, so that one going. Anything happening there? About break even, about a pip in profit or break even, so it's okay. Go to your studies there, Silas. Okay, stick with it. As a point, I don't really mean you studying all the theory stuff. Important, you know, the background, but you've got to put the practical areas involved. Anybody in this training at the moment who's got a degree will probably back me up on this. It's good to have all that knowledge to get your degree, but you'll probably find only about a quarter of it is actually 25 to 30% is used in the practical commercial environment. We concentrate on the practical putting together of this. That's what the training's about. Using the theory in here. And I know in the exams I took, a lot of the stuff I do is for analysts, for institutions and things like that, which I'm not used to the practical derivatives trader. You have to have it to get those exams. At least it's nice to have, put it that way. But the practical is where it's at. Yeah. So stick with it. And please remember, guys, I know when you first got in a motor car, you looked at possible. Now you can have a chat, be on SMS, sing to the music, and have one hand hanging out the window, and you can still change gear, and you didn't know you did it. It becomes automatic. So stick it out. Okay. I know that, Jean-Marie, because as to those friend of mine's a draftsman, and the architect's getting all the money. So he sweated blood to get an architectural degree, and some of the stuff he had to study. And I always remember you talking about Christopher Wren, the Great Fire of London, he put together, and the St. Paul's Cathedral. And you study it all, but you don't find in the practical world, you get many employers coming up and say, can you design me a cathedral? It's usually a townhouse. That's a different theory of practical. Get it? Okay. Right. Okay, we're coming up. Key factors, money, psychology. This is the biggest of the lot, John. Psychology. That's why I say many, many times, you learn nothing by trying to trade on a demo. In fact, you do worse than nothing. Yeah. Good point. We'll leave that alone. It's in the hot water. I'm trying to use an example. As psychology of trading is absolute. Psychology of the human being is absolute. And there's some very clever guys going around there. If you can't handle psychology, ups and downs, they do silly things. Unfortunately, that's only happens if you've got real money on it. Charts like the W or the M. Oh, you mean the up and down like a W? Yeah, often, yeah. It's like the ABC or the what's called Elliott wave, things like that. But you can if you like. I just think they overcomplicate it. Head and shoulders. Again, I quite like it. It's okay. Well, I spot the head and shoulders, but understand the emotions, understand the fundies, support resistance areas. You don't need an 110 bloody bits and pieces like that. Keep it simple, and you'll find you usually win more than you lose. I found that. And I used to have all sorts of fancy stuff. Forgot most of them now. I'd have to go and read up on it again because I haven't used it for a while. But I just got really caught up in the starting. Talk about paralysis by analysis, eh? It's only moves because people make it move. In a nutshell, that's price action. Moves because people make it move. And you got a very big player coming in here who's a bit pissed and decides he's going to go and buy. If all the indicators saying sell, it's going to move the price up because he's got a lot of money on it and he's a bit drunk. Yeah, it's exactly. That's why I say self-fulfilling. If they all started selling the area you live in, Anne-Marie, wherever you live, your house price is going to go down. You think, what's wrong with my house? What's wrong with the area? No, everyone's starting selling it, and vice versa, they'll start buying it. Same principle. Anyway, right. Common sense name of the game. Catch you at 4. Hope these trades come out, and be nice to see at least by 4 o'clock what's happening on the Western Front, and maybe get some clear indication going into tomorrow. Okay. See you later, alligator. Those can make it. Thanks very much, guys, for your support. Many things got value. That's the main thing. Thanks, guys.